How you doing, guys? Professor EDC with another BLADE-OSOPHY Sunday. And boy, oh boy, was it kind of a tough weekend. I've had some tea. Here we had the Black Friday earlier. It's usual. And I decided to sell some of my personal collection knives, none of what you see here. And it's always, first of all, we got to talk about attachment. I don't know this is something that we must deal with, an enemy we must deal with as collectors and as humans in general. But an attachment can be vicious, but I also started to notice something else because, you know, I took some of those knives and you know, they're up for sale, some of them still, but what it made me realize as well is that the fear of change, and let me explain a little bit of that. I have tried various different type of knives. What you see here are just some of my favorite knives, folders, if you will. And I've tried a few customs. I've tried had the Jason Guthrie, I don't know how it's pronounced, Scout. I had the Osborne 13, I think it's a 12 or the 13, Richard Osborne 12 or 13, which was a gorgeous little EDC knife. Man, do I miss that thing. If you haven't seen Richard Osborne, look for him on Instagram. It's a fantastic knife maker. And what was it? The Malone knives, Nesmek, which I still have, and what was this? The Tartarus. I don't know. I don't remember the knife maker, but the name of the folder is the Tartarus. Great name, by the way. And also Javier Brito, huge cookery from Javier Brito. And you know, having a taste, just a taste of customs, and then just a taste of very, very good production knives, as you can see here, has made its landmark in me. Also, and most important, I think, right now the knife world is going through this stage where there are just too many good knives out there. But let me clear that up. There are too many generic good knives out there. And so am I tired of this? Am I tired of the hobby? Am I tired of looking at knives, looking for knives, testing some out, having to let go? You know, sometimes it gets a little bit tiring. Yeah, I guess sometimes as we go along any path, we may lose the purpose from time to time, and that's good. It's a reminder to go back to why you're still here. Why are you still walking the path you're walking on, right? But most important, I think that we are seeing just too many generic knives out there, and that's great. I mean it. I mean it. What would we do without the rat? And that's something we gotta think about because, well, now that it's not Ontario Knife Company anymore, I don't know how the new ones are gonna come or if they're going to keep on producing the new ones. But, anyways, the new generic knives are great for user knives, correct? For just in general, if you do gardening or have gardening as a hobby, or um, if you're at a construction site and you want to use a good generic knife, well, now's the time because there are so many ranges for the prices and qualities and specifications and running on bearings and whatnot. So now's a good time for user knives. But I'm not only interested in user knives anymore. You know, I started off with axes and then machetes and then knives, bigger knives, of course. This is a lovely EDC knife, one of my favorite, of course, Bark River. But and then went from fixed blades to folders, and from folders in general to slip joints. And gorgeous, isn't it? And I have reduced my collection over the years. So I think it was around 214, 213, around there. And now I have like a fifth of that. And I'm still, with this sale, what happened, you know, it made me want to sell more. Again, none of what you see on the table. And that's because I'm in talks with a great knife maker. And no, I'm not going to spoil the surprise. But for me to get a place, get in line to get a custom folder around a 6-month wait. So that's, you know, kind of, this is the result of what I'm just telling you, of having too many generic knives out there, of just looking perhaps too much at everything that is coming out, old and new and upcoming and whatnot. And so, and just not being very surprised by most of what I see. Yeah, I might like it. I think it's a good knife, but I don't know. It's not the same. It's not the same for me. They just don't do it for me. And they might do it for other people. That's great, but not for me. And so we are all on different stages, and we may some share the grade we're in. I've always said that about knife collecting, that we all start at a different time, but we all start school in different times. Some have started kindergarten 5 years ahead of myself, and then I'm starting kindergarten 5 years ahead of other generations in the knife world, and so on, right? And there were people before us that were in high school and in graduate school. So here we have one of them, right? And so this is what I'm looking for. This is just one of the best folders of all time, I think. At least for me. And this has a special place in my collection. I don't care if I've had more expensive knives than this out there, but the design and of Brian Ado, the execution of Riyadh, we are seeing a whole new, different way of doing knives, of producing knives. And so, but you know, I have dipped my toes in the custom world. Very little, just merely dipped my toes. And so now I'm going to go a step beyond and order my first custom for myself. This is not something bought. This is something ordering and just exchanging ideas with the knife maker. All the work, it will be on behalf of the knife maker. I will just make, you know, a few suggestions as to color or something, you know. But again, it's the result of just seeing too much of the same with just a little touch of a little slope here, a little color there, and then they call it something new. And it might be a good knife, might be a great knife, but it just doesn't do it for me anymore. And these knives I have used, all of them, except this one, of course. This one is just borrowed. I had it near here. I chose, if you haven't seen what I chose, then you should. Oh, I haven't made a video of that in English. I did that live streaming in Spanish, and but I just spoiled that. But you can you now know I didn't choose this one, though this was in the first place for me to choose, and it was a tie with the other model that I chose, and they're all, the 5 of them are great, but and that's where the fear of change, I can see that. I chose the rosewood, and I'm just going to spoil that video, but I chose the rosewood. And why? Perhaps because I'm still just a bit more traditional or conservative. That's okay, it's a process, but I still adore this one. Right now, I'm still thinking of keeping one of these. But anyways, fear of change. Stepping into new ground. And as we speak about this new ground, as we speak about knives, and I can recognize that fear of change, I can also recognize that fear in my life. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of things we can learn from knife collecting. As I said before, yeah, attachment. But we can also see a whole bunch of other things of not just attachment, but like I said right now, fear of change. Because I will be losing another 1/5 of my collection, I would say, or at least put out there. And in order for what? To try something new? What if that doesn't work? What if I don't like it? What if I regret it? That's something we're going to have to just find out. At least in this way, this should be something fun. And we must remind ourselves of that. But it's a good test for us to put ourselves out there and recognize these weaknesses, right? The attachment, the fear of change, because it's something that we have, and something that should really be worked on. Can you imagine if, feeling that nervousness just on a simple, very simple knife collection? Can you imagine what that would mean with something important? Think about it. Hope you guys have a wonderful week ahead. Professor EDC out.